Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the From the Stands podcast. We are back for yet another episode. I believe it's 78 question mark. I don't even know. I always forget to check, but we are back on this Tuesday, September 16th. A little bit of an early week episode here for you guys, but we get to kind of skip last week. Missed the first weekend, most of the games from the NFL season from the first week and everything. But we're back. We're going to recap the last couple weeks of games, just kind of hit on the main storylines and everything. We'll also touch on a little college football as that gets up and running. Hopefully getting into a little bit of conference play here this week and weekend. And then we'll wrap it up with a little soccer as we get back into things over the pond, as we like to say, with my Gunners looking pretty nice. So, but before we dive into all of these riveting storylines that we have to talk about, especially in the world of NFL, Fezzy boy, what we got going on recently?
Oh, finally cooling off. Went a little apple picking to what was it? Skytop?
It was not cool, but yes, yeah, we went to Skytop.
It wasn't cool that day. Today felt pretty good, but yeah, we went to Skytop, did a little apple picking with Peter and his wife and son, and yeah, it was a good time. I actually hurt my back pushing Owen around in the stroller. My back has been killing me the past few days, bro. And then it did not help the fact that I had to go to work, obviously yesterday and today. So, I had the heating pad on while I was watching football and everything, dude. Turning 26 next month. Might as well be turning 56, dude. Might as well be turning 56. Oh,
just from pushing the stroller around?
Dude, just from pushing the stroller around, bro, I'm falling apart. It's so bad, man. It's so bad.
I feel like that's not even like that much out of the norm of what you're usually doing at your work and stuff, like bending over and carrying. And
I know, that's what I thought. I was like, well, when we were there, I told you guys, I was like, I'm definitely gonna be sore after this. I knew that would happen, but I was like, I didn't think my back would just fall out. Like, oh right. My word. I don't know, bro. I don't know, but it was fun. It was fun regardless. It was a good time hanging out with you guys, and I guess trying to enjoy it wasn't even fall weather. It was like 85 degrees out, not apple picking weather at all.
Yeah, for those of you who don't live in South Carolina, it's kind of like a whole thing with doing any kind of fall activity, really, whether it be apple picking or pumpkin picking or going to a corn maze or whatever. Like, you have to go early enough where you can still pick apples, or you can still have, pumpkins to pick or whatever. But if you go too early, it's like stupid hot. But then if you go too late when it's actually fall weather, which is like October, November-ish, like everything's already gone. Everything's been picked through and everything. So all the city people go nice and early, and it's not the vibe. But
the amount of people there that were dressed up just to get their one photo for Instagram. They weren't even there. Like, they probably threw the apples that they picked out, but they needed to pick them for their freaking Instagram collage. I was just like, dude, what are we doing?
Pumpkin picking, it's going to be even worse, because that, like, you can literally just pull up with your car, get out, take a picture, and leave. So there's so many people there, dude, doing that.
It's just basically what we're trying to say is so busy for no reason at all. Like, no reason at all. It's awful, but it was fun to be there with everybody, for sure.
It was a good time. So, but yeah, without further ado, we'll kind of get into the sports part of the podcast. Like we said, got kind of a week and a half, I guess, to recap from the last episode that we got. So we'll get into that in just a moment. So stay tuned for that. Alrighty, opening up this first segment with a little NFL. I am very excited for the NFL finally being back. Obviously, last time we talked to you guys, it was right after a Cowboys Eagles. That was a pretty tasty game with a lot of different storylines and everything that was going on there. But a lot of games, obviously, to recap and everything. We're not going to go through quite all of them, but by far the biggest one in week one was Ravens-Bills. This was Sunday night. Oh, was it Sunday or Monday night? I can't remember. One of the primetime games.
Yeah, Sunday night. Sunday night, yeah.
Yeah, primetime Sunday night, and boy, were we treated to a great game right off the bat, week 1.
Fantastic.
Obviously, a rematch of the playoff matchup that happened last year with the Bills coming out on top in that game. 41-40 final score in this one. Bills, for those of you who didn't watch it, you missed an incredible game. Kind of looked like it was done and dusted there. Middle to late fourth quarter with the Bills going down 15 points with about 4 minutes remaining. But you never count Josh Allen out, man. They put on a
No,
huge,
fam.
huge comeback. And they take it right at the death there. Just an incredible game both ways. Josh Allen accounting for almost 400 passing yards, doing it on the ground
Insane.
as well. James Cook not having as much of a productive day on the ground, but he caught that one and went almost to the house there. That was great for my
Hmm.
fantasy, which we will get into a little bit later. But yeah, just a back and forth game. Derrick Henry brought his
Great
best
game.
stuff too, but I guess I'll kind of just throw it
So
over to
good.
you. I'm very glad I didn't go to bed a little bit early, as
Dude.
a lot of people probably did on this one.
Right, yeah, you're not kidding, man. Yeah, I for some reason, I was staying up late. I think Owen woke up or something, and I'm glad this is one night I'm glad he did because I was definitely one of those people that was getting ready to go to bed. Dude, Derrick Henry was just running all over the place. I was like, they can't stop this guy. And like, lo
Yeah.
and behold, it was his fumble that ended up kind of keeping the game alive for the Bills. But like, other than that, he was definitely the best player besides Josh Allen, who ended up with like 4 TDs. Side note, I know we'll talk fantasy a little bit later, but my wife absolutely smoked my brother in this other fantasy league we have because she had Josh Allen who dropped 40 points. So that's just how fantasy works, I guess. But dude, people are already saying this could possibly be the game of the year, and I'm like right there with
Week
them
one.
because dude, week one, like prime time, NBC must have been like licking their chops because they were just like, dude, that couldn't have gone any better. Like a repeat of was it the divisional round last year? Because it was
Yeah. Yep.
the divisional round between the Ravens and Bills, which was another great game, but this one was definitely dude, Josh Allen is like one, he's like a dude's dude. Like you
Yeah.
can't hate the guy. Two, he is so good at football, like incredible. Two MVPs going at it, and it did not disappoint. Because the other thing is, I had Lamar Jackson on fantasy. I get him every year, and he put up almost like 30 points, and I was just like, oh, that's a great game. But no, Josh Allen had
Yeah.
4 TDs on the night, and like you said, like
I mean,
almost 400, 400 plus.
Lamar's a running back playing quarterback. Obviously, that's kind of been his MO since he's gotten to the league. But he had a couple runs where he would take like a 15-yard loss on a sack and turn it into
Yeah.
like a 25-yard gain, which is just
Oh yeah.
obviously there's a couple guys in the NFL that can do that now, but just the way that he does it is unlike any of the other quarterbacks that we see. So just
Right.
incredible
Yeah. No,
stuff.
his legs are like they're a weapon. Like you said, there's more and more quarterbacks becoming more athletic, and Josh Allen's one of them, a more athletic running quarterback. But a lot of it is like you know, again, Josh Allen isn't like a 1-to-1 comparison, but like when Lamar's running, it's like, oh my gosh, this could be like a 20, 30 yard gain where like other quarterbacks are like just extending plays. Like when
Yeah.
Lamar takes off, it's like, I might take this to the house. Like this is like probably the best play we could run. So like you said,
Yeah.
he's definitely like the first kind of in this new generation to like be the guy that's always running with the football, but he's definitely not going to be the last. Just with how the quarterback position is evolving.
Yeah. Yeah, another guy that was getting, a lot of touches that game from the Ravens was DeAndre Hopkins,
Mm,
signing on in the offseason from the Chiefs, coming
what
over
a
to the Ravens,
catch!
still trying to chase that ring a little bit there, but yeah, what an incredible catch. Obviously, kinda rolling back the years a little bit, back to his prime when he was, kinda dominating the NFL, but, definitely the turning point in this game was the massive Derrick Henry fumble. I was trying to remember the
Right,
last time I saw him fumble in general, and I couldn't remember
right,
last time. Just because I mean he's so big, you just think that he's never gonna fumble, but huge,
right.
huge turning point. Obviously, they pull it within a score there. The Bills do, and you still kind of feel like it's over just because there's not that much time left. But then trying to run
Hmm.
out the clock, Henry fumbles. He was already in his own end, so the Bills didn't have that far to go, and they were able to able to get it in there. But what do you got to say about Henry coughing it up there and then kind of following it up? I know we won't touch on their game too much in week 2, but he had kind of a not a stinker. They didn't really need him to put up a ton because they still blew out the Browns, but only 20 yards in week 2. So
Right. Yeah. Like you said, it was super uncharacteristic of him to fumble the ball. I'm pretty sure I've seen clips of him in training on the internet where he literally will do like drills to make sure that he doesn't fumble the ball. I think like he'll literally have like he'll just like hold the ball and he'll just have people come and like punch it, like just I don't even know, like
yeah,
training his strength or whatever. But like super out of the ordinary, I guess you could say.
yeah.
But yeah, that was the big turning point because he had how many? Did he have three TDs? Two, three TDs?
I think at least 2. Yeah, something like that.
And like he had like 160 plus yards on the night or something
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
like that.
169 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's what I'm looking at. So
Yeah, the dude was an absolute monster as he usually is. And like you said, a little bit of a fluke against Cleveland. Like, take a back seat, Derek. We don't really need you to, against the Cleveland Browns or anything. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
super out of the ordinary for him to fumble the ball like that.
Yeah, and on the last touchdown the Bills scored, they tried to go for 2 to try to tie it, ended up
Mm,
failing on that one, but then it all set up for a Matt Prater field goal who was just signed this past week, literally like 2 days before the game. He
yeah,
got a flight down there, like, didn't even know a lot of the guys on the team. It's just kinda showing up and ready to go kinda guy, but it's insane to me that Matt Prater is still kicking. I remember when he was
I
bailing
know.
Tim Tebow and the Broncos out in like
Yeah, man.
2012, bro. So
Oh my
obviously he's
word.
still around. He was perfect on the day and
Did Tyler Bass get
hitting the
hurt?
game winner too. I
Or did
think
they let him
so. Yeah,
go?
he had to have. I don't. They're pretty locked into him. I think. I think he got hurt.
Gotchas. Okay.
But yeah, I'm not totally sure about that. But yeah, what about him just showing up and hitting a big time kick? Obviously, he's got
Dude.
experience, but that was massive for them. Way to introduce yourself to the rest of the squad.
Yeah, for sure. And I it was just funny listening to all the stories. Like all the players when he came in, they were looking at him and they were like, "Is this a coach?" Like they had no idea
Yeah.
who he was, and I was just like, "Dude,
Right.
that's so funny." But like
Yeah.
when you're a kicker and you're that old and like you could literally be most of these guys' dad, like
Hmm.
I would be like, "Oh, this has to be a coach too," because he looks pretty old as well. But I'm the
Yeah.
same as you. I remember when he was with the Broncos and he was balling out over there. So that was just a
Yeah.
cool moment for him.
Yeah.
He wasn't signed, right? They kind of like called him up off the couch and was like, "Hey, will you come
Pretty
kick for us?"
much.
Right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, 41 years of age. Confirmed that Tyler Bass is on injured reserve, so Matt Prater will
Okay,
probably be kicking there for at least another few weeks there. So, 41, man, that's so old. That's older than Aaron Rodgers, I'm pretty sure. So he's got to be up there with some of the oldest
something
guys in
like
the
that.
whole
Yeah.
league. But yeah, super cool. Love to see the Bills come back. Like I said, an
Yes,
instant
sir.
classic type of game right here in week 1. But moving it on to a team that's in the same division as the Ravens. Cincinnati Bengals. Huge news coming out this past
This
week.
hurts.
Joe Burrow going down in the second half of that Jags game. They go on to win. Bengals are looking pretty good at 2-0 here, but unfortunately for them, they lost their cornerstone for probably the season. 3 months, he's out with a turf toe, which sounds like a kind of a just a
Right.
dainty injury. Like, it doesn't sound like it'd be that much, but it's no joke. I looked into it. It's not fun to
Yeah.
have. So he's looking at
Yeah.
surgery
Surgery and
this week,
everything.
and he's going to be out for three three
Yeah.
and a half months, which will make him like his
Not
timetable to
good.
return is like December, January, which
Yeah.
is
Not
basically the end
good.
of the season. So yeah, but they've kind of avenged their slow starting seasons as of late, starting out 2 and
Hmm.
0, scraping by the Browns. I don't know why they struggled so hard against them.
Right.
And then obviously he went down, and they were actually behind the Jags in this game. Jake Browning bringing them back. So
Ayo.
solid stuff by him, but they start out 2-0. But Joe Burrow, that hurts the ball club for sure.
Dude, I think when you said cornerstone, that's an understatement. He is their entire franchise. Like,
Right.
if any quarterback other than like a few in the league you could say are still underpaid after getting their big contracts, it's him because he is the heart and soul and everything of this team. I mean,
Yeah.
he had an MVP caliber season last year and they still missed the playoffs because their defense was so bad. And it's obviously looking like it's still going to be pretty terrible this year. Maybe a little step up, but still like bottom of the NFL. Yeah, this hurts. And it's really like I'm not a Bengals fan, and obviously I root against them because they're in the same division as the Steelers, but it's like you hate to see good players, great players out injured. Like you want to see them playing, you want to see the NFL at full strength. And it's just like you were saying, their biggest knock is they always start slow, always starting like 0 and 2, 0 and 3. Obviously last year that was like the reason that they didn't make the playoffs because they dropped 2 games they shouldn't have lost at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And now they start off hot, 2-0, and Joe Burrow goes down. It's like they can't catch a break. So, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people are saying this is they're out. He's out for the rest of the season because they're envisioning like the Bengals not making the playoffs without him, which is a safe bet. But I mean,
Probably.
if they're right on the cusp, I mean, he's coming back. If they're right there, he's a competitor. I don't see him sitting out if they have a chance of getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, their backup did enough to win that game against the Jags, but they've got kind of a not necessarily a murderer's row, but they're gonna be playing some good teams here right off the bat. So we're gonna see what he's made of here pretty soon. But he basically checked in the game and like proceeded to only throw the ball to Jamar Chase, which isn't a terrible,
I mean,
idea, but that's how he kind of racked up crazy stats against the Jags. They were able to win that game, but yeah, it's gonna be a huge test for them coming up here in these next few games. They got Vikings, Broncos, Lions, Packers, like all in the next 4 or 5 weeks. So he's definitely gonna have to improve himself.
wow.
And do you think I saw a crazy stat that Joe Burrow has taken more sacks in his career than
Yeah.
Andrew Luck did, and he's played at his point in the career, and he's played 15 less games than Andrew Luck did, and we obviously saw how that ended with Luck with all the injuries and everything. And I threw this in
Right.
our little group chat we have with our buddies here and didn't get a response, not necessarily because I believed it necessarily. I just kind of want to put it out there and see what people were thinking,
Mhm.
but no one responded. But what do you think about some of these people out here saying Joe Burrow is getting a little injury prone here? Obviously, if it was me, I think it's he doesn't have a great old line, and that's very very obvious at this
Mhm.
point with the amount of sacks he's taken. But he's got something every single year now. Really, the only year he didn't was when they went to the Super Bowl. His rookie year. He was a rookie that year, I think. Anyways, one of his
No,
first 2 years.
he got hurt his yeah. Yeah, but no, yeah, he got hurt his first year,
Yeah.
his
Do you
rookie
think
season. I didn't he like tear his meniscus or something like that?
yeah, something like that. So, but
He had a
anyways,
season engine. Yeah.
yeah, anyways, point is he gets hurt every year basically. So do you think that's more
Right.
of him being a little bit more injury prone than you'd like to see a quarterback, or do you think it's more of a product of his O line kind of just being terrible every year, really?
I think it's more his O line because kind of like back to our conversation about the quarterbacks that run around. Like he doesn't do that a lot. He's not as mobile as like a Josh Allen. Definitely not as mobile as like a Lamar or Jaden Daniels. But he's more of a pocket quarterback. So when you're in the pocket, if you're getting hit, it's definitely your O line. So that's something that needs to be addressed right away, especially if they don't want him to end up like Andrew Luck. But kind of to the Andrew Luck point, in my opinion, like, yeah, he's taken more hits and stuff like that, but the fact that he's gotten to a Super Bowl where I mean, Andrew Luck was seeing a lot of success coming right out of college, like a lot, took him to a conference championship and all that. But I mean, Joe Burrow's been to a Super Bowl, so I feel like if he was going to take the route of an Andrew Luck, he wouldn't because he's tasted and gotten so close to a Super Bowl that he's not going to give that up because he's having injuries. Where with Andrew Luck, it's like with the Colts, it's like yeah, we're having success, but we can't get over the hump. Also, I'm getting injured, and also people are doubting me. So it was kind of more of like a mental thing for him, where I feel like not saying Andrew Luck wasn't mentally tough, but I feel like just Joe Burrow's just built a little different. Like we've seen all the clips and the documentaries and stuff on him. Like he's like one of those people that if you wanted to compare him to Tom Brady, you almost could because he's just kind of built like that, like a competitor through and through. You know, doesn't take days off unless he absolutely has to. So, but it is kind of wild to see that he's. You said he's played less games than Andrew Luck,
15
up to
less
this
games,
point.
taking more sacks than Andrew Luck.
That's wild. That is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
What's the age comparison? I don't know if you have that right away, but what is the age comparison?
I think
Is
Luck retired in his age 28 season, which was Joe Burrow right
dang,
now. So
dang, tough.
yeah. So no, I like I said, what I was throwing out in that group chat was more of just like a discussion opener rather than I believe that he's necessarily injury prone. But yeah, when you're getting beat
Hmm.
up like that, and I think it's organizational incompetence on the Bengals part. Like at this point, you've had
For
six.
sure.
I think this is his sixth season. You've had time to draft a million guards and tackles or sign
Hmm.
guys. And really, the only competent offensive lineman that I can think of right now is Orlando Brown, who's been there for a little while, Oklahoma product. I think he was at the Chiefs for a little while too, and they were winning Super Bowls as well. But just a revolving door at offensive line. I feel like, I mean, they've had plenty of time to protect their franchise guy, so it's really on them to not be able to put a line together to keep him up, obviously on his feet and out of the injured reserve area. So it really sucks
Right.
for them. We'll see where the Bengals season goes from here. Probably not great with Jake Browning at quarterback, but um, who knows? Maybe they're still in the hunt at the end of the year, and he's able to come back late in the season. But yeah, just really
Right.
unfortunate for a guy that was should have been in the MVP discussion last year if they were going to be hanging around in the playoffs. So yeah, super unfortunate stuff there. Moving on to my Cowboys, Brandon Aubrey getting a big time game winner. Obviously after our L against the Eagles, I was flying high. Obviously us playing a little bit better than expected. Maybe the Eagles even playing a little bit worse than most people expected. Really, really close game. Felt great. Thought we are gonna destroy the Giants. I've been on here quite a bit saying that Dak's 13-0 going into this game against the Giants. But the Giants came to play, man. Like I was pretty surprised. Like Russ Wilson, I felt like we had 2014 Russ back in the building. Unfortunately, against us, he was just throwing the pill all around the yard, going deep. Our secondary looked terrible. Like we were just giving up seam passes, we were giving up deep stuff, and just couldn't really compete. It's kind of a just a back and forth game there for most of it, and then there's a couple different fourth quarter touch touchdowns by both teams. Malik Neighbors catching that crazy bomb with about 25-30 seconds left. We go back down there, get a couple completions. Then Brandon Aubrey from 64 yards out, an absolute. I mean, he that thing would have been good from the
Animal.
parking lot, bro. He's an absolute animal, like you said. But 64 yarder to, and that would have been good from 70. I've been telling people all season, bro. Like this was before I could come on and actually be like positive about the Cowboys. But I was like, the one thing I can hang out hat on out this year is like he's gonna hit one from 70 yards and break the record. And I still
Oh
believe that.
yeah.
I think that would have
Oh
been good
yeah.
from like 70 yards. But so
Easily.
yeah, he ties it up. Back and forth game really in the overtime period as well. We don't score on our first possession, they don't score on theirs. Kind of thought it was going to be over after the Giants got it back because they can kind of just like sit on it. Terrible interception thrown by Russ Wilson there late. He was just kind of got
Dude,
used to
what was
throwing it
he
down there and
doing?
hoping Malik Neighbors would come up with it. Big time pick, and then we were able to just kind of just run it down all the way to the end and let Aubrey take care of it from there, like a little 40-yard chip shot
Yes,
for
sir.
him. So we get the dub. Way more stressful than I
Huge.
was hoping it would be. Huge dub for
Yeah.
us. Dak stays undefeated against the Giants. Giants suck. They're 0-2. Get out of here. I will say Russ Wilson, 450 yards, 3 touchdowns is pretty good. So,
Yeah. He bought
um,
himself some time with that game for sure.
yeah, a little bit. Everyone was asking for him to get benched for Jackson Dart for that first game. So, he definitely heard some of those calls as well. So, Wandale Robinson
Yep.
also coming up huge
Mm-hmm.
um, in the wide receiver room over there for the Giants as well. 142 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. Malik Neighbors 167 yards, 2 touchdowns. So that's
Yeah.
absolutely crazy to have in one game from 2
It's that
receivers. But
downfield threat with Russ. It's that
he
downfield
can still
threat. Like that's all he's
throw it
got
pretty well
now.
downfield.
That's all he's
Yeah,
got now. Like
and we
he's
didn't
not Seattle
adjust.
Russ.
Yeah, we didn't adjust. Like I came on here like super high. I was like, dude, we shut down AJ. Like they couldn't do anything. And then just a complete 180 going to the Giants. I think we are looking down on them like, oh, they kind of suck. We'll have this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, still a good game from our offense for the most part. Dak Prescott 360 yards, so he had a day as well. CD Lamb coming back. remember him dropping any balls this week. So he's looking like his old self. George Pickens
Big
getting more
game.
involved. So I'm still
Yeah.
hopeful going forward that we'll be able to do something with this season. But I know you were watching this game a little bit just because you were kind of texting a little bit about the penalties. I guess you can talk about the penties a little bit from that one guy in that first
Dude.
drive. That was the
Yeah,
craziest
what is
thing I've
his
ever
name? I didn't
seen.
even know who he was. Like, who is he?
Jordan, not Jordan. His last name was Hudson. I'm literally
Yeah,
thinking of
something
Bill
like that. But
Belichick's girlfriend for whatever reason. That's her name, Jordan Hudson. But Hudson
yeah.
was his
Oh my
his
word.
last name.
Yeah, Giants offensive lineman, dude. He had 4. I could be wrong, but I saw a stat like someone was saying because I caught this game like in the middle, and it was like in the middle of this drive, and he
Mhm.
literally had 4 penalties on him. And someone was saying a couple of them were like back to back, like just like
Yeah, 2 back
blatantly
to
jumping
back and
off
then
sides.
4 total in the drive.
Yeah, dude. Like Dable was like calling to pull him out. He's like, get him out. For whatever reason, he stayed in. And but obviously they did not score on that drive, which would have been absolutely wild if they did. But I'm just sitting there
Yeah,
like, dude, I have never seen something like this. Like the same guy, like in the same game alone, someone doing that, but within the same drive, that was
right.
absolutely ridiculous. I was just like, this guy should be sitting on the bench at this point. I don't care how. Even one of the commentators said it. He's like, at this point, it doesn't matter how bad the dude behind him is. Like, you got to take him out, right? And the other guy was like, "Yeah, you definitely have to." But for some reason, they
Yeah.
kept him in. Maybe they didn't have anybody behind him that was like a what was he? He was like a tackle, right? He was on the outside, I think.
Yeah, he was a I think he was their left tackle actually, so pretty important position. But I
Got
think he was already a second
right.
stringer, so maybe they literally had like no
Oh,
one else. But yeah,
yeah,
he,
it's tough.
I mean, false start. Then he had like an unsportsmanlike for just
Yeah,
extracurricular after a play, another false start, and I think he had a hold in there too. So like. Just disastrous possession or drive for him personally. I think they did actually sit him for one play just because it was getting like the announcers they were literally saying what everybody else was thinking. Is like, are you kidding me? Like, there's no way this guy can be penalized anymore. And he wasn't even the only guy. They subbed him out for one play. The tackler that replaced him, false start immediately. So I was like, dude. And they still got a
yeah, dude.
field goal
Yeah,
out of that
James.
drive, which is crazy.
Oh, really? Dang.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they did score. All right, all
they
right. My bad,
did.
my bad. Yeah,
So
James
they're
Hudson
gashing
the
us for 30
third.
yards down the seam.
Yeah. Yeah. It says right here he's reported to be the first player this century to commit 4 penalties on a single drive,
Mm,
resulting in his benching in favor. Oh, so they did eventually bench him.
yeah,
In the first drive, I didn't even realize it was the first drive of the game, too. Like,
yeah,
brother, what are we doing? What are we
yeah,
doing?
yeah.
Oh my
That
gosh. Terrible.
I'm not sure
Terrible.
how much they ended up with, but I think total on the day they ended up with like something like 16 or 17 total penalties, which
Yeah,
is
they said
a lot of
overall in that game it
penalties.
was a lot of penalties. I'm gonna look that up. But is Brandon
Yeah.
Aubrey the best player on your team?
Yes,
I mean,
positionally, like as far as like across the league, like he's the best kicker in the league. So I'd probably say he's the best at his position. Yeah. So
dude,
either him or
he's
CeeDee Lamb, I guess.
I
But
respect him even more because he's a soccer player or a
hmm
former soccer player. I think he played at like the USL championship or something like that.
yeah,
Didn't quite hack it there. That his wife was basically like, "You think you could do better?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he went out and ended up on an NFL team and probably will go down as I mean, it's early to say, but some people are putting him in that like Vinatieri GOAT conversation right now. So I mean
yeah. I
when
mean,
it's
as
all
far
said and
as
done,
yeah, obviously he doesn't have the longevity or, nearly as long as some of those guys, but as far as a long distance kicker, he's already probably the best we've ever seen. So, big props to whatever scout on the Cowboys was like, yeah, let's pick this guy up off the couch, the software engineer that used to play soccer and get him to kick for us. So, love to
yeah,
see
he was in
that.
the UFL. I think that's where they pulled him from.
Yeah, USFL. Yep, you're
XFL,
right.
UFL, USFL.
USFL.
Yeah,
Yep.
whatever that league is or whatever. I don't watch it, but
Yeah,
dude,
it's one of those sprint leagues.
in this game there was 26 accepted penalties. That's
That's insane.
insane. I was
How
trying to
many
see
on the
I think it
Giants?
broke a record. The Giants, it was 12 for 160 yards, and Dallas had, or not 12, sorry. I'm getting it backwards. New York had 14 for 160 yards, and Dallas had
14. That
12
sounds
for
right.
106 yards.
Wow.
That's insane. And that was
That's
only the
that's
accepted
ugly.
penalties. That wasn't the ones that were
Dude,
offset and
the one,
yeah.
I'm not sure if you were watching that, but you just jogged my memory. The one where there was 3 penalties on the Giants and then one
Yeah.
on the Cowboys where CD was
And it
taunting. How
offset?
does that offset, bro? Like, tell me how that makes
I don't
sense.
know. I don't
I'm
know.
so
There should
dumb.
be a rule where like the offsetting penalties have to be like the same yardages. So if it's like like a 15-yard penalty, like both 15-yard penalties offset,
Yeah.
or it offsets
I
one of
mean,
them, but then
I
the
don't
other two
care.
have to stand,
Yeah, I don't
right?
care as much about the yardage thing being equal, but like if it's one penalty and one penalty, fine. I get, you can convince me that those offset. But
Right.
like if there's 2 versus 1 or even 3 versus 1, like this situation, like, I mean, fine, one can
Yeah.
cancel the other one out, but then we enforce one of the other 2 penalties that's called on the other team. But
Right.
anyways,
Like you
whatever.
should
I
be able to
digress
pick. Like you should be able to
a
pick
little
which
bit.
penalty
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah. So dumb.
Insane.
So dumb. But anyways, moving on from the Cowboys, moving on to the Chiefs. You actually put this one in here. Patty Mahomes hurting the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll just kind of throw this one
He
over to
is.
you. Chiefs start out 0-2. 2 tough games right off the bat. LA Chargers lose that one by 6. I think they were actually playing as we were talking the last podcast we had. And then playing the
Yeah.
defending champs pretty tight here, 20-17. Tush Push was in very came up a lot in this game, which we'll get to in a second.
It
But
did.
I guess I'll just kind of throw it over to you. You think Patty Mahomes is hurting the Chiefs, or what do we got going on?
Oh, absolutely, dude. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Like, he's not that old. I
Yeah.
understand his O line is still not that great, but it's better than it was last year. Like 100%. He has way more time. He's actually been able to stand in the pocket a little bit more this season. And on top of that, Travis Kelsey actually had a decent game. So, like, you can't blame it on not having his security blanket. But near the end
Except
of the
for that
game, when
one
they
where he
needed,
gave it to
oh
him,
yeah,
basically.
yeah,
But
except
other
that
than that, yeah,
one,
he had a
which
good game.
yeah. So, but the reason I say I feel like he's hurting the Chiefs is, did you see the amount of throws that he just like missed?
There's a couple,
Especially
yeah.
that
He
one to
overthrew him.
Thornton over the top. It was
Yeah.
broken coverage. The guy tripped. That would have gotten them right back into the game, and he overthrew him.
Yeah, that
Like,
was
dude's
brutal.
wide open, and he just, and then I can't remember the other play, but I think there was like one or two other situations where he just missed wide open guys, and that's just super uncharacteristic of him. And so it could be just me like not really being a Chiefs fan and kind of like hoping for their demise. And so I'm just like, oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes is hurting the Chiefs, but like from that game, like playing the defending champs, he kind of hurt them. Like if he hit that ball over the top to Thornton, I think this was like with 3 minutes left, they don't have to try an onside kick. They can actually
They would
like
have,
kick it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, they can actually like kick it to the Eagles and actually like try to get the ball back, just playing good solid defense. But unfortunately, like I mean, he just absolutely missed him wide open. So like I don't know. It just in my opinion, again, I know it's only been 2 games, but he just doesn't look. He doesn't look quite right. He doesn't look like the Patrick of old, I guess you could say.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they completely different situation if they convert on that one. Also completely different situation if Travis Kelsey catches that ball down at the goal line and goes in for a
True,
touchdown instead of
true.
being an interception the other way. So that was a
Yeah.
massive, massive momentum shifter there. Yeah, I would tend to agree that Mahomes is missing some of these, especially the deep ball. He used to have that kind of dialed in. Like even last year when
Yeah.
they weren't that great, he still he still had Worthy over the top and everything that he was still connecting on for at least once or twice a game. Yeah, the first game I thought he looked shaky. I kind of gave it up to like, whatever first game. The
Mhm.
part that he does still look pretty good and he's running really well. Like
Yeah.
he's getting out
Yeah.
of the pocket, he's getting on his horse a little bit. He's trucking a couple guys. Like there
Yeah,
was
I
a
saw
couple
that.
Eagles in this game where he ran him over pretty good. Like there was that one in the Chargers game, and I think I texted you about it. I was like, dude, he
Yeah.
always does this. He pretends like he's gonna go out of bounds and he just lowers his shoulder into somebody, or he just
Mhm.
like jukes in like last second because he's kind of taking advantage of that.
Right.
You can't hit him going out of bounds rule. But no, he's getting out of the pocket quite a bit better than he was at least last year. But yeah, he's struggling to throw the ball, especially downfield. Um, Obviously, it's hurting them without Worthy and without Rasheed Rice. Hollywood Brown is just not it anymore. I was kind of high on him, thinking that they had a little bit of an underrated guy there, but he's just not it anymore. So
Mm.
obviously their receiver room is hurting, and the Thornton guy, like that's kind of his deal. Like he's going to be a deep ball threat. He's a big receiver. He can kind of go get those one-on-one balls too, and he's got speed. But if you're overthrowing the guy, like that's not, you know,
Yeah.
you're not gonna do great with that. But I think that he's
Right.
gonna elevate. It's the first couple games. Even though
Yeah.
he's struggling here, I don't think this is gonna go on the whole season, no matter how much you hate the
No.
Chiefs. As much as
No.
I would love to see them go 0-17, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think they get rolling. They've got a pretty easy game coming up here, but where I do, it is concerning, and they did lose these first two games, but they've both been by one possession. So you're kind of seeing their luck go from last year, where they're winning all the one possession games, to losing them both.
Hmm.
But they've got a murderer's row of a schedule, bro. Like,
Oh, really?
even if they get it together, like it is. I mean, after the Giants, let's say they win that game, which, like, if the Giants play like they did against the Cowboys, that's no gimme either. But let's say they win
Right.
against the Giants. After that, they
Uh-huh.
have Ravens, Jags, who look decent, but like not terrible, not like the normal Jags. And then
Frisky,
they got
yeah.
Lions, like Raiders, who didn't look great in their second game, but they got some pieces, looked okay in their first game. Commanders,
Mhm.
Bills, Broncos, Colts, who all of a sudden don't look as beatable as they always are.
Dude, the Colts.
Cowboys on Thanksgiving, like, I mean, goodness,
Wow.
dude. Like,
Yeah,
even if
that's
they're
tough.
the Chiefs of old, like that's a murderer's row of a schedule right there. So,
Oh,
they're gonna
man.
be wanting Rasheed Rice to get some kind of plea deal and to get back early or
All right,
something.
you need
But
to shave some suspension days off of that suspension because they really need you. And I like you were kind of saying, I'll give Patrick Mahomes the benefit of the doubt because like as you were talking, I was thinking like his deep threats have always been like the fastest guys in the NFL. Like Xavier
yeah,
Worthy broke the
Tyreek.
combine record. Tyreek Hill, who's legitimately just a track star out there playing wide receiver. So
Hmm.
okay, Thornton, he has speed, but he's probably not as fast as those guys. But he
Yeah,
missed
for
him
sure.
by a lot. So I
Yeah,
don't know. We'll see. But
yeah.
I do
And I mean,
agree. I
obviously,
do
no
agree.
one knows that better than him. So he's, you know, I
Right.
as much as people want to write off the Chiefs, I'm not ready to quite do that yet, unless they somehow
Can't
lose
bet
to the
against them.
Giants, and then it's really over. But
Yeah, if they lose next week, we'll be singing a different tune for sure.
and their division is kind of loaded this year too, with the Chargers being at 2-0 already, and the Raiders looking better than usual, and
Hmm.
and everything. So
And Broncos
they
have a good defense, and Bo Nix is playing
yeah.
well. Second year, like
Yeah, but Bo
it's up
Nix
for
didn't have
grabs
a
in that
great first
division.
game, but hopefully he'll get back into the groove. But
Good game against the Colts, which I mean the Colts are
yeah,
this. I mean we don't have this in the doc, and we don't have to touch on it, but Colts are the surprise of the season so far.
yeah,
Danny
Indiana
Dimes out there
Jones,
slinging it.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana
Um,
Jones.
but yeah, I know we had this a little bit later in the dog bites. We'll just touch on it now because it's a good segue. Hopping over to the Eagles side. Not much throwing of the ball here for the
No.
Eagles in both of their first games, really. But Saquon Barkley kind of leading the charge there. Another tud for him in this game. Jalen Hurts has 101 yards passing, which I'll get into my rant in a little bit. But he has no passing touchdowns in the first 2 weeks of the season. Apparently, Dylan Gabriel has more passing touchdowns as a second stringer on the Cleveland Browns than Jalen Hurts has in the first two games of the
Really?
season. So apparently, that's a real stat.
Uh-oh.
But the real conversation coming out of especially this game against the Chiefs, the old tush push, the old
Ugly.
controversy in chief for the NFL the last couple of years here with the Eagles. Um, Dude, I hate this play so much. Obviously, I'm a Cowboys fan,
Right?
resident Eagles hater. I hate the Eagles so much. I was actually
A
rooting for
little
the Chiefs in the
biased.
Super Bowl, believe it or not, because I hate the Eagles that freaking much. I
Wait,
think
that's
Jay
news to me. You were?
Probably. Maybe this is hindsight, and I just hate them now more than the Chiefs. But like, dude, I cannot stand them.
Right.
Jalen Hurts is overrated as crap. There's a stat that's saying that he's not even thrown like 3 passes over 10 yards the entire first 2 games of the season, which is totally true.
Really?
He leans completely on their run game. He's got freaking 2 wide receiver ones that he never throws the ball to. He just checks it down if his first read isn't there, just because he weighs 100 freaking whatever pounds. And he can squat 600. All of his freaking rushing touchdowns are from the freaking tush push, which is freaking illegal, which we'll get into in a second. But cannot stand the Eagles, bro. I can't stand Jalen Hurts. Super, I hate them. I hate Nick Sirianni. I hate Big Dom or whatever the frick. I hate their stadium. I just can't stand them. So, um, yeah, I don't know if you have anything to say about the Eagles and their tush push, but I guess we'll just kind of get into it. There's been a ton of videos, which I've been saying for like 2 years now. This tush push thing, I don't know why it just came up against the Chiefs, maybe because everybody was watching this game, but that's so illegal on like three different fronts. First of all, you got the
Yeah.
center, his head and his body is almost always over the ball. That's illegal. You got all of his linemen that are scrunched up on the line, like all the way forward, neutral zone infraction on all five of those guys. And then beyond that, we got three false starts on every freaking tush push where like NFL is like taking down replays of their tush push touchdowns because it's such a bad look that three guys on the Eagles are false starting every time. And like they're gonna call it on the defense where like they can't line up a certain way, but they're letting the Eagles literally like have these penalties like every freaking time. And then beyond that, we have this other game with the Chargers last night where they try a tush push and they're sorting them out, they're like spreading them out. They're like, oh, make sure that they're lined up this way, make sure that this person isn't false starting. Like, bro, what the frick are we doing here? So, anyways, that's my Eagles rant. Uh, yeah,
Yeah, no,
so annoying.
I'm starting to feel the frustration too, because before I was just like, a lot of the people that wanted it out were the people that couldn't do it. But
Yeah,
even some of the people that did do it, like at a high clip last year, like the Bills, even McDermott was like, "Yeah, it's a play that we really don't need in football. We're just using it because it's effective and it's not illegal yet." Which most people will do that. It's just like an exploitation of the rules. Like if
hmm
it's effective, we're gonna use it. Doesn't mean we necessarily agree with it, but like if we can win games with it, we're gonna do it. But
yeah,
like you said, it is totally one sided. I feel like the defense is handcuffed because they're kind of playing with a different set of rules because I'm pretty sure, and I think you're the one that sent me the clip, but there was this ex defensive lineman that was basically saying like for years they told us that as defensive players we can't push each other to help each other get across the line,
yeah,
but the offensive linemen can line up and literally just push each other, and the running back can push their quarterback through the line to get a first down or a touchdown. So it's completely one sided, and it
right.
just shows that the NFL is more about taking care of the offensive side of the ball, and they really don't care about the defense. And it kind of like it's just little side note. I've just noticed that like a lot of these games, and it is teams with bad defenses, but like this the past 2 weekends, the scores have been pretty high. Like the game is just kind of shifting towards a more offensive. Like I don't know. The rules haven't changed all that much, but I agree with you. The tush push is getting to the point where it's just like it's more of a frustration than actually just being like, oh, like if you can do it, just do it. It's like,
Yeah,
is it
and
really needed?
like it's just this is what Greeny says all the time. It doesn't look like football; it looks like rugby, where like everybody gets
Yeah.
scrummed in there, and like it's just it looks ugly. Like it takes away. I understand that they're good at it. Like props to them for being good at it, but at least try to execute it in a legal way. But, like, obviously, if
Right.
they're within the 2-yard line, whether it be a 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 or down at the goal line, like, you know what's gonna happen, and, like, that's obviously just coming from, like, a salty Cowboys point of view where it's just like, I don't want them to score all
Yeah.
the time, but, like, it's not I don't know, I don't like it, and then, like, besides that, we got Jalen Hurts, like, I saw a stat last year or whatever. It's like, oh, he has more rushing touchdowns than Mike Vick. He's such a great running quarterback. I was like, 35 of his like 50 some odd touchdowns are tush pushes. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
like that pees me off. So, and that just
Yeah.
goes beyond
Yeah.
his like all of his passes are just check downs to Saquon on the screen. And like he did, that's so annoying. And I know it's not completely fair because he was throwing the pill all around the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and obviously had a good game there. But I would say that's out of the norm for his usual play style. I would say, but whatever.
Right.
That's my rant against the Eagles. Tush push needs to go away.
Good rant. Good
I'm
rant.
curious to see how they're gonna officiate that though now because like it got loud online after that. Like the almost random
Oh,
things,
I
like they've
bet.
been doing it illegally for a couple years now. I feel like, but it's just like boom, like
Mhm.
randomly, like, oh, we're gonna start like really officiating this. Probably because they ran it like 7 times in this game. But anyways,
Right. Yeah,
we'll see
exactly.
where it goes from here and if they're gonna officiate it differently and if it even lasts another year because they were pretty close to banning it this past year. So, um,
I think it will get
mm,
banned this offseason.
good, good. The Eagles will be done then.
Sign
Last
off
couple
on it.
things we'll touch on here. Tom Brady talking about things that got a little heated this week and in the news.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's in the Raiders coordinator booth during their game last night. This is controversial because he obviously calls games for Fox during the week. And just in the, I guess, the pregame stuff and the meetings that they have with certain teams and certain players on the opposing teams. There's a lot of restrictions, stuff that come with that. Obviously, he's given special access to practice and plays and all kinds of things like that, even though there are some limitations that what Tom Brady specifically can do. But yeah, there's a lot of people talking about Tom Brady being in the booth for the Raiders game. Obviously, listen to just what kind of plays are running and everything. What was your opinion on this? Do you think it's a huge conflict of interest of him kind of meeting with all these players and these teams when he's commentating and then just hopping in the booth saying, "Hey, man, like they might be running this play from when my intel was from early this week," or what do you think is going on?
Right. I'm sure he's not bending the rules, but, like,
Oh
the
no,
temptation
why
is
would
certainly
Tom
there.
Brady ever?
But, like, I mean, the temptation is certainly there, and I think someone on ESPN this morning made a really good point. They were just talking about, like, even if you're not breaking the rules, like, it's just like, super important that you just don't give the perception that you could, and,
Correct.
like, and I understand he loves football, I understand that he's, like, a football guy through and through, he always wants to be there. I'm surprised that he went into commentating. I thought he was gonna go more the coaching route or at least the coordinator route because one, I think he'd be really good at that. But
Yeah.
like it's just like when you see an owner up in the booth, but yet he's also a commentator who gets to talk to all these other teams and get gets insights that, if a coach tried to get those insights, they would probably be like, "Oh my gosh, you're cheating," like for sure. And so
Yeah.
it's like so you just take him at his word that he's not mentioning this to Chip Kelly or
Yeah.
anybody on the Raiders sideline. Like, I don't know. It's just like you just can't give the perception that you could be cheating, and it's just gonna be something that's gonna follow you all season because as soon as they were saying on ESPN this morning, as soon as the Raiders get good, people are gonna point to that. Like right
Yeah.
now, they're not like they're better, but they're not very good. So it's like, well, they can't be cheating because if they were cheating, they'd be good. But as soon as they get good, people are gonna start pointing at that and making a fuss. So like right now, it's not a big deal, but it's definitely
Yeah.
gonna come back to bite them as soon as they get good.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I like what you said earlier. Like, I don't even know why you would even want the perception of something like that going down. Like that's what you can't have as a not just a football league, but as a sports league. Like you don't want to be considered that like there's any kind of nefarious cheating or the refs or anything like that. You don't want anything like that going on. And I think they did a good job last year of it. Like they were pretty clear with like all the limitations that Tom Brady had. But I know that they got lenient on several things this year where like he's allowed to like be like remote in some of the meetings with the players beforehand on his broadcasts. And then obviously this year,
Mhm.
obviously he wanted the coordinator's booth with his own team and everything. So, like you said, I just think that just the having that visual of him up there is not great for the integrity of the game. And like you said, like as soon as the Raiders start winning, it might get loud over there. But I did see one thing that was kind of funny. It was like I think he's announcing the Cowboys Bears game this weekend, and then I think the Bears play the Raiders right afterwards. And everybody was like, "Oh, like
Mhm.
everybody's kind of like blowing up about it." But then there's like another portion of the population that's like, "Well, do you really need to cheat to beat the Bears? Like, they're not that great. Not hard to
Oh
beat them."
no.
But so
Oh
they're just
no.
catching strays. But yeah, super interesting.
Oh,
I'm
tough.
kind of still frustrated about the whole Tom Brady Fox thing because obviously he signed a massive contract there and was immediately into the number one booth with Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olson. Man,
Yeah.
I'm so sad about. He's such a good commentator. He's the best commentator in the game. He has to settle for number two at Fox. Like he announced the Giants
Yeah.
Cowboys game, and he was just excellent. So Tom Brady obviously just
Yeah,
slotting in that number one spot just because of his name is still a little bit unfortunate to me, but it is what it is. But we're gonna wrap up this
unfortunate.
NFL portion here with a little fantasy. Give you guys a little bit of an update about what's
Oof.
going on in our fantasy league, especially the one that we are in together. Um, Fezzy Boy tried to propose a trade a little bit earlier today, and that was rejected. But how's your team feeling so far in the boys' league? Frustrations. I think you're sitting at 1-1. Is that correct?
Yeah, 1-1 right now. I snuck out a win last week and then got absolutely obliterated by Brandon. 131-99, bro. I didn't even
Oof.
crack 100 points, dog. Oh, it's
Oh,
so bad. Yeah, my
that is
RB2
tough.
situation is looking bad. And that was the trade I was trying to make. Obviously, I
Yeah.
understand why you asked it because when I made the trade as well, and for those obviously probably wondering as I'm talking out of context here,
Yeah.
I tried to trade Lad McConkey for Is it Javante Williams? Is that
Javante Williams, yes, sir.
Javante Williams, who's actually had a pretty good start to the season? I think like plus 20 points every week.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. It's
have a
been huge
lot of
for
wide
us.
receivers, and you
Lot.
have a lot of wide receivers, and I saw that, and so I was like I can't give you a wide receiver off the bench because like you just have so many. I was like I have to give you someone out of my starting lineup, and he's actually probably my best wide receiver too because yeah, he's my starting wide receiver. My wide receiver two is Jacoby Myers, which has been decent for me, and then all else I had to offer you is George Pickens, who has not panned out so far this season, but obviously I understand why you asked it, but that
Well,
hurt me a little bit.
yeah, well, if I traded you Javante, I would have had literally only two running backs left and like no subs. But you
Oh, we
made
got
another
waivers
trade
tomorrow.
earlier in the season that was really questionable for me. Is you traded away Quentin Johnson to get Rashi Rice back. What was that all about?
Yeah,
So, like he
yeah.
was a
Well,
15-point first 2 weeks, and Rashi Rice is going to be playing to week 7.
yeah. The reason I did that is because I had Cedric Tillman, who's actually been producing maybe not quite as much as Quentin Johnson, but he's like good for like 12 points every week. Um, and I just needed, like I said, other than Lad McConkey, and he hasn't popped like people thought he would. But other than Lad McConkey, I don't really have a great wide receiver too. And so I was
Yeah.
just kind of stocking up for later on in the season. And I've actually been hit with like a ton of injuries. Like Austin Eckler's, he's on IR now. Brock Bowers was questionable. Evan Engram was
Yeah.
questionable, and he hasn't done super well. Lamar Jackson was questionable at the beginning of the season, so like I definitely made that trade just in like not quite a panic, but I was just kind of like, dude, I got people dropping like flies. So
Well,
he's a good wide receiver to just stash for now and get
so
me
you're
to
you're banking on
midway.
health in week 7 versus a guy that scored 25 and then 16 points in the first 2 games.
Yeah, yeah. I never said I was
Okay.
good at fantasy football.
Okay. Yeah, solid. You
Yeah.
still have Saquon, you still have Lamar, so not all is lost. You just gotta do some shuffling and stuff. You gotta be on that waiver wire for sure. But
Yeah,
um,
I'm in for Judkins. We'll see if I get him tomorrow morning.
there you go. There you
Not sure
go.
if people are tapped into that. I got this podcast that I listen to every day to
Everybody
see who
go
I
get
should pick up.
Judkins now.
Hey, shut up, stay off of him. He's mine. He's mine. He's mine. He's mine. Put in waivers. I put in all my waivers today to try to make sure I get some people because
There you
man, I'm
go.
not very good at this thing. But anyway, that's enough of me. You're actually pretty decent at this at fantasy football, so people should be listening to you, not me.
Yeah, well, I had a really, really good week in our boys league. I scored
Ah, sure.
175 points, so we were rolling over there. If Joe Burrow didn't get hurt, bro,
175 points? Goodness, what the
I
frick?
beat Jamie by 75.
Oh my gosh. I'm not surprised you
If
beat Jamie, but the fact that you put up 175, dog.
Yeah, dude,
Goodness.
if Joe Burrow didn't get hurt, I could have had a chance for, maybe not quite 200, but it would have been high. It probably would have been 190-ish or something like that. But I had Jonathan Taylor 30, James Cook, who's like that dual back that's just gonna get you, receptions and lots of yards. Puka Nakua almost had 30. Debo Samuel had some nice garbage time yards that helped me out a lot.
Dude,
Tucker
and that's the
Kraft
other
out of
thing.
nowhere, 25 for
Dude,
the
Tucker
Packers.
Kraft, dog. You got all these dudes that are just hitting. Like
Yeah.
I took McLaurin in another league, absolutely has done nothing. But you take Debo, who's the older, more injury prone one, he's popping.
Yeah.
Freaking Tucker Kraft out of freaking nowhere. And
Yeah.
then obviously you
I
have Javonte Williams, who is literally like a top 5 running back right now in fantasy. Granted, it's week 2, but like,
Yep.
dude, I mean,
Yeah, no, he
and then you have the goat of all goats, Brandon Aubrey, who's probably putting up like 15 a game for you.
23.
Dude, I can't, dog. Like, what are you
I
tapped into? I don't know. Like, I need to be tapped into it. Who do you
I'm
listen
not
to?
it's
Is it
all
just,
up here, bro. It's all up here.
dude?
I'm really not
It's that finance bro in you that just literally the numbers, bro. You
I
just know.
guess.
You just know
I guess.
projections. You should work for a. You should be a financial. I don't even know what it's called, but those guys that project out for businesses. You should be one of
Oh,
those
a
guys.
forecaster, financial forecaster or something?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
word.
No, dude, like the
Dang.
Tucker Kraft, I knew he was gonna pop off for a big year just because they got so many receivers. People are gonna be focused on them. He's gonna have a
Yeah.
good year all year. Abuka, I knew he was gonna be solid because
Yeah.
he's a wide
Yeah.
receiver 2 or 3 over there with Evans and company, and he's had 25 and then 13. He's gotten a touchdown both games. Javante, I kind of took a flyer on, but all of a sudden we have a run game, so he's been stashed on my bench, gotten 20 both times.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz has been solid, surprisingly. So just putting together like Debo Samuel was on my bench last week, and he put up like
Mm.
23 points. So I was like, I'll get you
Yeah.
in the starting lineup here, bud. And he's popping off too. So we're looking
Yeah.
really good. But Joe Burrow going down, that hurts the ball club a little bit. I'm gonna have to start someone else,
Yeah.
probably Justin Fields, who's on a concussion. He's on my bench, and I'm gonna have to shuffle some guys there. But
Yeah. Who are you gonna try to
it,
pick up if Fields is still
we'll
out?
see. We'll see. I'm trying to put in for Jared Goff right now, but let's keep that on the DL. Jared Goff, maybe a Matthew Stafford, maybe a Michael Penix. You never know. You never know. But
You never know.
yeah, this doesn't mean anything. Usually the people that start off really good, all their players start dropping like flies like week 5 or 6. So I'm not gonna get too high on my horse here. Hopefully everybody just stays healthy and keeps their production up. But we're looking very, very fine here in this week 2 here. I am 1-1, so I did lose my first game, so I'm not like, crazy just out here, dominating fools quite yet. But yeah, some of our other guys, everybody's 1-1 in that league except for little T. He's at 2-0. So big
Why is
props
he
to
fourth
him.
right now? Or
Who?
is that no? That's not waiver. I'm looking at league members and it has us ranked, and I'm in third. How's that work? Am I
What
not
do you
looking
mean
at the right
third?
thing?
Oh yeah, that's just a list of us, homie. You gotta go to standings, G.
Where is? Oh, there's standings. I'm usually on the app. I'm never on my laptop doing it. There we freaking go.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's
there
funny.
it is. Yeah, you're sitting in second. That's about. Yep, there's me at seventh. All right. Yep, this is the list I'm looking at.
Herbie
Yeah.
took a tough L. Like he lost by just a couple points, like at the
Yeah.
horn last night against little T. So but
Yeah.
anyways, that's kind of our fantasy team. I don't know if you have anything else. I will say we were talking up Herbie like crazy on fantasy a couple weeks ago when we were doing the previews and everything. He left 50 points on his bench with Roma Dunze getting 32 and Wandale
Yeah.
Robinson actually 60 points, 28 points for Wandale Robinson, both chilling on his bench. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he could have won that game for sure. But
Right.
that's kind of what I did the first game. I played you, didn't I? I played you, and I
Yeah.
left like 100 points on my bench, bro. Like it
No,
was
that's like in the
nuts.
first game, Javonte Williams went off for like 25 or something points. And that alone would have, if you put him in, and granted, it's the first game, you had no
Yeah.
idea that freaking Javonte Williams, you guys just picked up from Denver or wherever he came from, was
Yep.
going to pop like that. And so, like, that's just the
Yeah.
first game stuff. So,
This was my bench. Last in the game I played you, 24 points for Abuka,
yeah.
20 for Williams, Debo Samuel had 23, and then Justin Fields had 30. So that's all on
Yeah.
my bench.
Yeah,
Like,
literally
bro.
like a top 5 running back and rookie of the year sitting on your bench. You just week
Yeah.
1 didn't know. Like, I mean, it's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Week 1's always a toss up. You just play projections because you you don't really have anything. And I mean, Granted, not until like week 4 the dust will really settle, but like after week 2, you can kind of just see like, all right, this guy is gonna he's gonna be all right. He's gonna be all right.
Yeah, yeah. So projected 130 for this week. So we'll see how it plays out here against Nathan. But yeah.
I'm probably
Anything
gonna
else?
lose anyways.
Oh, shut up.
All right, all right, whatever. It's the end of that segment. Dude, I'm so bad at fantasy, and I think I'm gonna be better every year, and I'm just not because
That's
I don't know
because
how to
you're
draft.
trading away perfectly healthy receivers with 25 points for a guy that's not going to play till week 7.
Yeah, but Rasheed Rice could give me 20
7.
one of these weeks, and it's gonna be great.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, but then you'll be 2-5 and the
Yeah,
season
by
will be
that time I'll be
done.
out of playoff contention, and it won't even matter. I just stock up on players that people
Anyways.
want at the end of the season. They can come buy them for me. That's all.
So you can trade him away for worse
For
players.
nothing. You can Venmo me a little something something for these players.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, that was a super long-winded podcast, super long-winded fantasy talk and everything. But obviously, we
All right.
did miss a couple weeks of wow, I can't even talk NFL football. So, without further ado, we will get into a little college football here in just a moment.
Moving on to some college football, we're gonna just highlight just kind of like 3 stories. There wasn't a whole lot going on this past weekend in college football. A lot of the teams really came straight out of the gates and played their biggest games maybe of the season. I know Texas and Ohio State is definitely going to be one of the bigger matchups that we have this entire season. So the teams are kind of taking a step back, playing some, I guess you would say, lesser competition. Texas for sure, but that's going to kick us off in this segment. Arch struggles against UTEP, a team that you feel like if it's a get right game, he kind of had his get right game 2 weeks ago. Who did they play? I don't even remember. Some no
San
name
Jose
team.
State and then UTEP.
San Jose State 2 weeks ago, and then UTEP this past week. He was bad. I'm gonna have to pull up the stats unless you have them, but just really really struggling. When I saw some of the posts from that game at halftime, the only 2 touchdowns were him running the ball in with his legs. Like
Yeah.
his, and I know you'll touch on this, but his accuracy and just like throwing mechanics and everything, everybody is just super shocked by like how bad he's actually looked throwing the ball. I know you have a little bit to say on that, but I kind of just pass it on to you. What do you think about Arch and his outlook on the season?
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that he's hurt. And I think there might be a little bit of validity to that just because on a lot of the clips that there are out there of him throwing, he's like wincing on like half of his throws.
Mm.
And a lot of people are chalking that up. Like some people think that he might be legitimately hurt and just trying to play through, or his mechanics are messed up as a passer and he just doesn't know how to throw the ball properly. So he's just like he's not throwing it well and he's just like hurting himself. And obviously his accuracy is garbage. Like at one point during that UTEP game, he went 11 straight passes with like incomplete passes in a row, which in a row is wow. Like you
Yeah,
can't get a 2 yard slant in there, which like
yeah.
there was 2 yard slants dialed up and he was missing those. So like I'm not really sure what's going on with his throwing in particular. His running looks great, but yeah, just throwing the ball looks absolutely horrid. Like uh, against San Jose State and UTEP, where you should be putting up 450 and 4 touchdowns, he's putting up 114, a
Right,
touchdown, interception, like just not great stats at all. He's got one more tune-up game. Sam Houston State, like Texas, just didn't even care. They're just scheduling cupcakes after their Ohio State game, but
right.
he's got to get it together because Texas is going to be in for a long season in the SEC if he can't get something right.
Right. Yeah. No, I 100% agree. Like, I mean, SEC, bro, probably the best college football conference. I know the Big Ten's right up there, but yeah, he was like 11 for 25, dude. And that's
Yeah.
just so uncharacteristic of like just a Manning. Like Manning and bad throwing mechanics should not be in the same sentence. It doesn't even sound right. So I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on there. Like, an injury would explain it, but
And a lot of people are
who
throwing it
knows?
back on his high school career where, like, apparently he went to the super prep, like, very low
Mm.
level high school. And, like, the film of his high school is really funny. Like, it's just guys that are not they're just out there. Like they're going to be accountants in the future, like just halfway, just running and things like that. And he looked great there, but
Right.
maybe going to Texas and playing SECs might be a little bit above him. But still a long season to go, so he could look completely different in a month, and we're chanting Heisman again, but not as of right now.
Yeah, not as right now, and it's looking more and more like your prediction of him sticking around an extra year in college might turn out to be true if things
Yeah,
continue down this way.
I definitely didn't think that this side of season was going to look when I said that, but yeah, it definitely doesn't look great right now.
Yeah, at least your one of your predictions is working out. My prediction for Clemson is definitely not working out. I had, if you guys listen to the podcast at all, Clemson winning the national championship because I just really thought with their experience and their returning players, they would be doing a lot better. But one of their bigger returning players, their freaking is he a senior? Klubnik, their
Yeah,
quarterback.
I think
Yeah,
so.
freaking senior quarterback has been absolutely wet in the bed. Uh, the past few games like, dog,
That's
like, what are
funny.
we doing? I mean, 207's not like bad passing yards, but this is obviously the game against Georgia Tech that they lost. We were kind of keeping up with this game when we were apple picking because a lot of people actually had Georgia Tech knocking off Clemson, but ended
Bro,
up
I said at the
pulling
beginning of the
out.
season, watch out for Haynes King, bro.
Dude,
He's
he's in
he's a
Heisman
giant
talks
slayer.
now. Heisman
I
talks
wouldn't go
now.
that far, but
No,
yeah.
no, that's just what I've
Nah. But
seen. The
he's
articles
he's
I've
just
seen.
he's always has them in that upset,
Right.
conversation.
Yeah, Georgia Tech's kind of like I mean, they're better than Syracuse, especially this year. But like they're kind of that like whenever they do get a kid that's really good, just because of the transfer portal, he's gone the next season. Like
Yeah.
he's out to a bigger school. So it's like one of those situations where like everything has to come together for you to be like a great team. But even if you're a good team, you're gonna take a step back every season because you're gonna lose all those players. That's
Yeah,
just
because
kind of
I mean, you
good.
remember last year because they beat Florida State in their first game in Ireland, and then I think it was against Miami, who was like 3rd or 4th at the time. They beat them as well, and then they
Hmm.
played that insane game against the top 10 Georgia that was went to like 8 or 9 overtimes or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, they were obviously it was still an upset, but I mean, not that big of an upset, I guess.
Dude, freaking Haynes King, dual threat quarterback. Not even dual threat, dude. 103 yards, 25 carries. Like
Rushing, yeah, I can see
they're
that.
just straight up running the dude. Like, what
Yeah.
the heck?
Well, what you were saying
Super
about
accurate
Cade
though.
too, like this was kind of supposed to be because he struggled a lot last couple of years, just up and down, like just not being able to, especially his passing. He's always been a good dual threat, but his passing has never quite been. And this was supposed to be the year that he kind of elevated, and he was a Heisman favorite at the beginning, a top 3 quarterback in the draft supposedly next year, and he's just looked not great again. Like he had a really good playoff game against Tennessee, whoever they played in the playoff last year.
Mm,
So everybody's like, "Oh, he's going to be great this year," but he's just gone back to that same you know, throws at least one interception, untimely interception in a game, and
yeah.
so which is really unfortunate because I mean, with your national championship prediction, like that wasn't that far off. Like at every position, like they've got an NFL defensive line, 3 or 4 guys that are going to go in the draft in the first round. Like the receiving core is really good. Like they are struggling a little bit in the rushing department because they got that receiver playing running back now for them. But they were kind
Right.
of ready to go. But yeah, they're definitely not looking not looking too great. They're actually out of the top 25 now. So
Yeah. Really
when's the last
quickly
time
before
that
we move
happened?
on, Dabo out after this season if it doesn't go well.
No, absolutely
No?
not.
Think they're gonna hold
There's
on?
guys in college, bro, like, they've got so much goodwill stored up. Like, he's got 2 national championships. He's been there since '08. Like, he's got a
Facts.
lifetime contract there if he wants it. So, I mean, he's gonna have to put together, like, 4 or 5 losing seasons in a row probably before they even think about cutting him over there. He's like Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State. But it is getting loud up for Gundy over there after their last game getting destroyed by Oregon. But I don't think they look to that because I mean, even on a down year for them, they're still getting to like an ACC title game and all that. But they've got a get right game against Cuse. What do you guys say about that?
I don't know, man. After what Georgia Tech did, obviously, like I said, Georgia Tech's better than Cuse, but we're frisky, man. We're frisky, and we always play Clemson close. We
That
always
is
play
true.
Clemson close. So That'll be
Coach
an
got
interesting
your
game.
boys
I'll
running
definitely watch it.
gassers after winning an overtime game against
Yes,
UConn
sir.
too.
Dude, you ain't messing. When I saw that, I was like, dude, please stay with us forever. Like,
Mm,
we need a coach that is just like no nonsense. Like, even after a win, wasn't that a win?
yeah. That just shows you that
Yeah,
the
we won.
standard isn't just beating UConn in overtime. Like they got to be better
Exactly.
than that. So that's
Exactly.
good. You want to
Yeah.
see that.
We're most of UConn's freaking NIL budget goes towards basketball. So their basketball team is like literally nothing. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but anyways, I digress. My national championship pick is not looking great, but we'll see how the rest of the season rolls
They could
on.
still win the
Uh,
ACC and sneak in there as an automatic.
Still could, but they gotta beat people in the playoff. That's the
Yeah.
problem. Like,
Or just
who
beat
was it?
people in the ACC, period.
Who was it that we almost lost to before Georgia Tech? Was it freaking Troy?
Yeah, they were down in
We
the
were
first half
losing
against
to
Troy.
Troy for like 3 quarters and then snuck that freaking game out. Goodness.
Yeah, it's tough
But
over there,
anyways,
dude.
defense still looks good. I mean, maybe not if we can't stop Troy from scoring points, but who knows? I digress. Just another game. I actually didn't watch this game, but I just put this in there because it was a big matchup, SEC matchup. The Georgia Bulldogs against the Tennessee Volunteers. Were you able to watch this game, or was this on the
I
way when we were all going
was.
home?
Yeah, so I watched most of the second half. I think part of it was actually as we were heading home, but I definitely got most of the fourth quarter. Gunnar Stockton, man, he had a game. I'm pretty sure that I predicted the Georgia Bulldogs to win the SEC, I think,
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning of the year, and I'm feeling pretty good about that one. A lot of people were talking about Georgia might not even be a playoff team, like especially if they lost to the Tennessee Volunteers. But Gunnar Stockton looked great, dude. Like over 300 yards, 2 tuds. Like it's just a really solid game by him. They got a couple studs catching the ball over there at Georgia as well. Tennessee played a great game. Joey Aguilar, dude, crazy story from him. Obviously, with Nico transferring to UCLA, which that's another side story that we could get into. Like, have you
Yeah.
seen that where it's just like he's playing in empty stadiums? They're losing to New
Yeah.
Mexico State or whatever the frick, and Joey Aguilar takes over, and he's dominating. He had a couple mistakes, but he threw it for a whole bunch of yards and really kept Tennessee in it. Tennessee had a chance to win the game in regulation. The kicker trotted out there. I don't think it was even that long of a field goal, but I think it was a freshman. Could see it in his eyes, bro. He was not ready for the moment. Wide right, just not in it. Yeah, not in the cards there for the Volunteers there late. And that kicker, man, you got to feel for him. He did redeem himself and kick one in overtime, but Georgia went down. I think they had like huge, like 20-yard run to start overtime. So that
Oh,
by then it was
dang.
just kind of done and dusted. But yeah, huge win for the Bulldogs away at a top 15 opponent in Tennessee. So they're looking really good. And that Georgia defense, I know they gave up 41 points, which looks like a lot, like with overtime and everything, but kind of getting back to that identity that they had when they were winning national championships back to back. Just that stifling defense, half of which are on the Eagles, like Jalen Carter and all them boys. But yeah, really impressive win for them. And they got Alabama coming up, so. The SEC is so stacked, dude. Like every team in the
So
SEC,
stacked.
it's just like ranked on ranked, ranked on ranked, ranked on ranked, ranked on ranked, like
Yeah.
every single week.
Every year,
So
man.
it's nuts, but crazy good win by Georgia. I know we're not going to talk about this, but A&M and Notre Dame, that nightcap game, 41-40, two ranked teams as well. But just thought I'd throw that one in there too.
Yeah, there was a bunch of good games this past weekend, even though maybe not at the top end during the day, but definitely some of the nightcaps and stuff like that.
Well, those two were
definitely
the main
good
ones,
games.
though, for sure.
Right, definitely. But like I said, I didn't watch this game, so that was a good breakdown from Sammy Boy. But yeah, without further ado, we're gonna get into a little soccer after that. But that was the college football portion of the podcast.
Alrighty, you guys are going to have to bear with me just because Stallone had to step out for a little bit to check on his son. Sounds like it's going to be a little bit more of an extended time away. So I'm going to be wrapping up the podcast here for you guys with a little soccer exclusive, a little football over the pond, as we usually like to say here for our final segment here. Keeping it in England, we did have a little bit of an international break that we had to deal with. Not too much going on in that one. Some World Cup qualifying and everything. Biggest news coming out of that break was just that Germany faltering to Slovakia 2-0, but then they were able to follow it up with a solid win against some bottom feeders in their group as well. So a little bit of a shaky start for them in World Cup qualifying. Not much coming out of there. U.S. men's national team had a couple friendlies, losing to South Korea and then winning against Japan. But I'll leave Fezzy Boy up to that one if he wants to rant about it a little bit later. But I'm actually going to keep it in the Premier League. Manchester United meeting Manchester City on Sunday. A little Manchester derby action here for you guys. Manchester United coming off a solid 3-2 win against Burnley before the international break. Had them back in the win column. Feeling good about their season going forward after a little bit of a shaky start against Fulham, and then obviously the League Cup that we had talked about on the podcast previous, going down on penalties. So they're coming in at least in the win column with Ruben Amorim, hopefully getting things back on track there. Man City coming off a couple defeats here early in the season. Gigi Donnarumma, though, making his debut on the day. Really solid stuff from him, keeping a clean sheet. 3-0 Man City were winners on the day. Erling Haaland with a double in the second half. Phil Foden getting one early in the 18th minute. Really pretty an even game here for the most part. Possession was pretty even and everything. Manchester United starting with their classic three at the back here with Ruben Amorim that they've gotten used to, with Mazraoui and Dorgu on the wing back positions there. But unfortunately, they were exposed here pretty early, not really being able to keep up with the speed of Doku on that left side for Man City, Bernardo Silva on the other, Reinders and Rodri really slotting into kind of a double pivot there for them as well. Just really doing well against a Manchester United defense that wasn't really ready for that. So Erling Haaland getting two in the second half, looking like vintage Haaland here. So Manchester City getting back in the win column, like I said. They were really missing Joško Gvardiol as well in their center of defense there with Ruben Diaz slotting in there as well. So good news to from their point of view as far as getting some of their key guys back and hopefully mounting a better push for that title and starting off a little bit better than maybe last season. And big news is Gigi Donnarumma obviously playing his first game for the Premier League outfit there in Man City. He looked very, very good. One of the best, if not the best, goalkeeper in the world as far as I'm concerned. Pulled out some really, really good saves. Especially in that second half. And Buemo had a really nice effort that he was able to parry away. And again, I just think he's one of the better goalkeepers in the world there. So very, very fortunate for the citizens to get a keeper of his caliber there. And I did mention that Man City are going to be trying to push for the title a little bit this season. And they're one of the teams that they're going to have to go up against is Liverpool. They struggled really for most of this game. They were dominant, but they struggled to put a goal in the back of the net, leaving it late to a Mohamed Salah 1-0 penalty that we'll talk about maybe at a later podcast. And everyone knows kind of how I feel about Mohamed Salah and his penalties and everything. That's how he gets most of his goals. But yeah, leaving it late, like I said, dominated this game from start to finish. Lions share the possession, something like 25 shots or something crazy. So I don't really chalk that up much to anything else much other than just the fact that they couldn't really finish. Obviously the chances were there, just leaving it late. So I'm not really too worried about Liverpool not being able to win this game by 4 or 5-0. Burnley, again, up and comers, just kind of teetering between the championship and the Premier League there. So going to be a tough long season for them. But Liverpool, four games in a row now they've been victorious in the Premier League. So a great start from them. They're going to be in that driver's seat to retain that Premier League title with other challengers like Arsenal and Manchester City, more than likely at the end of the year as well. So Florian Wirtz had a better game. Like to see him. I like the center attacking midfielder role that he's kind of embraced there. But moving on to an Arsenal team, like I said, these are kind of the three teams that are going to be challenging for the title here at the end of the season, more than likely. Really great win by us, my Gunners. Gyökeres again with another goal. He scored more than anyone else in the Premier League as far as the first couple games go. Zubimendi with a double, got a header in the second half, and then a really good goal from a volley outside the box in the first half. It was deflected, but um, just a really good technique on that goal from him. So nice to see him kind of flourishing, getting two goals, one after the other here in after he gets his first one for the club. So good to see him up and just roaring as far as that midfield is concerned with Rice. And Gyökeres, he's kind of fully immersed himself into that nine role that we've really needed. So I think we look really, really dangerous. Eze on that left side and Madueke on the right might be the move going forward, especially with Saka out and Martinelli coming off the bench. That's the formation that we had in the Champions League as well, and I think that's the one that will likely be the best one going forward as far as the formation is concerned and everything. Zubimendi and Odegaard. Odegaard unfortunately is hurt his shoulder again in this game, so we'll see how long he is out. But I feel like we're more ready than ever to kind of deal with some of those injuries now. We've got a little bit more depth, as kind of we mentioned before. But we do have Champions League going on right now, but we're going to kind of wait until all of the Champions League games are played out, just because we'd have a couple today, but we'll have a little bit more tomorrow on a Wednesday to talk about maybe next week and kind of give a little bit of a recap into that. But yeah, without Stallone on the podcast, just wanted to wrap that up for you guys. A little bit of a recap into kind of what's been going on in the Premier League and everything. Like I said, Champions League in full force as well. So we'll get you guys another recap into some of the weekend fixtures and stuff coming up this weekend and everything, and the Champions League as well. It's going on this week. But yeah, without further ado, that'll be kind of the wrap up to the podcast for this week. We appreciate you guys watching, tuning in. Obviously, a little bit of a long winded podcast here, but we really appreciate you guys just kind of sticking with us and listening. If you get to this far in the podcast, really helps us out, and definitely appreciated by both us, Dylan and I. So yeah, without further ado, that'll do it. Peace.